St Thomas Aquinas Commentary on the Creed, Article 7. From thence he shall come to judge the living and the dead. It is of the office of the King and Lord to pronounce judgment. The King who sits on the throne of judgment scatters away all evil with his look. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 8. Since Christ therefore ascended into heaven and sits at the right hand of God as Lord of all, it is clear that his is the office of judge. For this reason, we say in the rule of Catholic faith that he shall come up to judge the living and the dead. Indeed, the angels have said that this Jesus who has been taken up from you into heaven shall come again, as you have seen him going into heaven. Acts chapter 1, verse 11. We shall consider three facts about the judgment. 1. The form of the judgment. 2. The fear of the judgment. 3. Our preparation for the judgment. The form of the judgment. Now, concerning the form of the judgment, there is a threefold question. Who is the judge? Who are to be judged? And upon what will they be judged? Christ is the judge. It is he who is appointed by God to be judge of the living and of the dead. Acts 10, verse 42. We may here interpret the dead to mean sinners and the living to mean the just, or the living to refer to those who at that time were living, and the dead to mean those who had died. Christ, of a certain, is judge, not only in that he is God, but also in that he is man. The first reason for this is because it is necessary that they who are to be judged may see the judge. But the Godhead is so wholly delightful that no one could behold it without great enjoyment, and hence the damned are not permitted to see the judge, nor, in consequence, to enjoy anything. Christ, therefore, of necessity will appear in the form of man, so that he may be seen by all. And he has given him power to do judgment, because he is the Son of Man. John 5, verse 27. Again, Christ deserved this office as man, for as man he was unjustly judged, and therefore God constitutes him judge of the entire world. Your cause has been judged as that of the wicked. Cause and judgment you shall recover. Job 36, verse 17. And lastly, if God alone should judge men, they, being terrified, would despair, but this despair disappears from men if they are to be judged by a man. And then they shall see the Son of Man coming in a cloud. Luke 11, verse 27. All are to be judged, those who are, who were, and who will be. We must all be manifested before the judgment seat of Christ, that everyone may receive the proper things of the body according as he has done, whether it be good or evil. 2 Corinthians 5, verse 10. There are, says St. Gregory, 4 different classes of people to be judged. The chief difference is between the good and the wicked. Of the wicked, some will be condemned but not judged. They are the infidels whose works are not to be discussed, because, as St. John says, he who does not believe is already judged. John 3, verse 18. Others will be both condemned and judged. They are those possessing the faith who departed this life in mortal sin. For the wages of sin is death. Romans 6, verse 23. They shall not be excluded from the judgment because of the faith which they possessed. Of the good also some will be saved and shall not be judged. They are the poor in spirit for God's sake, who rather shall judge others. Amen, I say to you, that you who have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit on the seat of his majesty, you also shall sit on 12 seats, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Matthew 19, verse 28. Now this is not to be understood only of the disciples, but of all those who are poor in spirit. For otherwise Paul, who labored more than others, would not be among this number. These words, therefore, must refer also to all the followers of the apostles and to all apostolic men. Know you not that we shall judge angels? 1 Corinthians 6, verse 3. The Lord will enter into judgment with the ancients of his people and its princes. Isaiah 3, verse 14. Others shall both be saved and judged, that is, they who die in a state of righteousness, for although they departed this life in justice, nevertheless they fell somewhat amiss in the business of temporal matters, and hence shall be judged, but saved. The judgment will be upon all their deeds, good and bad. Walk in the way of your heart, and know that for all these God will bring you into judgment. Ecclesiastes 11, verse 9. And all things that are done, God will bring into judgment for every error, whether it be good or evil. Ecclesiastes 12, verse 14. Even idle words shall be judged. But I say to you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall render an account for it in the day of judgment. Matthew 12, verse 36. And thoughts also, for inquisition shall be made into the thought of the ungodly. Wisdom 1, verse 9. Thus, the form of the judgment is clear.